I didn't leave to prove anything or to wound her. I left because staying would have destroyed me completely. There comes a point where love no longer feels like safety, but like a battlefield, when the person you once trusted most becomes the very source of your doubts and pain. You don't wait around to see how much deeper it can cut. You walk away. Even when each step feels like tearing away pieces of yourself, you still go. That's exactly what I did. I left with a heart already in ruins. For months, I convinced myself she had moved on without hesitation, that I hadn't mattered as much as I thought, that she never once turned back. I believed that story until the day I saw her again, standing in the rain. And in that instant, every wall I had built inside myself crumbled. It hadn't always been like this between us. Once, we were inseparable. Nights spent driving aimlessly with music filling the silence. Jokes only we laughed at. Quiet dreams whispered into the dark that belonged only to us. We were never perfect, but it was ours. It was real. At least, that's how it felt to me. But slowly, I felt her slipping away. Not because she had stopped caring entirely, but because she stopped putting the effort. The small gestures that once meant everything began to vanish. No more good morning texts. No more light in her eyes when I entered a room. No more meeting me halfway. I told myself it was just a rough patch, that she was worn down, that it would pass. But it didn't. She kept retreating, until one day I realized I was the only one still holding on. The night everything finally broke, I tried to fix us. I cooked her favorite dinner, lit candles, poured her wine of choice. It wasn't extravagant, just thoughtful, just us. She came home late, barely noticing, muttering something about being exhausted. Maybe I would have believed her if I hadn't seen her phone light up. The message wasn't intimate, but it carried the warmth that used to belong to me, and the way her face softened while reading it told me everything I needed to know. I didn't shout. I didn't accuse. I didn't beg. I walked to the bedroom, packed a bag, and left. For weeks, my phone stayed silent. No calls, no texts, no attempts to stop me. Maybe she thought giving me space was the right thing. Or maybe letting me go was easier than I imagined. Either way, the silence said what she never had the courage to. So I did what I had to. I built a new life, a different apartment, new routines, hidden scars no one could see. But in the stillness of quiet nights, questions haunted me. Was I never enough? Was she happier without me? Those thoughts stayed buried until one gray October afternoon, when the rain dragged them back into the open. I had just stepped out of the shop, pulling my jacket over my head, rushing through the drizzle when I saw her. She was crossing the street, standing still under the rain, no umbrella, her hair and clothes soaked through. Her eyes found mine, and my chest clenched. She looked tired, worn, as though she hadn't slept in days, but her eyes were the same as I remembered. I froze. A part of me wanted to turn and vanish, but before I could think, I was already moving toward her. We stood in the downpour, both dripping, neither speaking. Finally, she broke the silence. I didn't know how to face you. I thought you hated me. That's why I stayed away. But not a single day has passed without me thinking of you. Her lips trembled as she stepped closer. I wanted to call you so many times, but I didn't deserve to hear your voice. I made mistakes. I didn't sleep with him, but I gave someone else pieces of myself that should have been yours. And I regret that forever. Raindrops slid down her face as she shivered. Her eyes filled with nothing but raw truth and regret. Her voice softened. I can't undo what I did. I'm not asking you to take me back. I just need you to know I'm sorry. You shouldn't have had to carry that pain alone. Something shifted inside me. The weight I had dragged for months began to lift. I pulled a napkin from my coat pocket, something I had grabbed earlier, and handed it to her. She let out a shaky laugh through her tears. Still so thoughtful, she whispered. I gave her the faintest smile in return. We stayed there for a while longer, not as lovers, not even as friends, but as two people who had once shared something profound and were finally telling the truths they had held back. I'm glad you're doing okay, she said softly. So am I replied. Then she turned and walked away. And for the first time since that night, I didn't feel broken. I felt lighter, free. Sometimes closure doesn't come when you chase it. Sometimes it finds you months later, in the rain, wrapped in apology. And sometimes healing isn't about winning someone back. It's about finally letting go,